So today we have W1R3S machine. That's also a new machine on Vulnerable Hub. You can download the machine from the website directly from here. Okay, so this is our machine today, and it's kind of realistic, and at the same time it's beginner machine. So if you get started here and to scan the machine through Nmap. Now, okay, Nmap. We have port ops and for services. So now we wait for the machine to pops up the for the internet to pops up the ports, to open services, the protocols, etc. Okay, may take some time, but in the meanwhile, let's browse to the main web page. And 19. So here we have the default page for the Apache server, and when you first did the observer page that displays the default web page of the Apache server, realize that it has some kind of vulnerability or hidden directory. So all we need to do is /administrator. Basically, you can discover the administrator directory by doing durpaster. Okay, so here it says that we have an installation of Coupa CMS. Now if you proceed to the installation here, we see that we need to configure the database name and the password in addition to the admin username and password, and without those information we cannot proceed further in this installation. So basically I searched on the internet and I found that Coupa CMS has local or remote file inclusion vulnerability and alert config field PHP file. So here it says that we can append whatever file we need to see on the machine or on the target. So basically if we need to see the password file or the shadow file or any kind of sensitive file, all we need to do is to inject the name of the file, okay, to the parameter URL config and pass it to the alert config field.php file. Okay, so that's basically the main vulnerability that we need to exploit right now. So here we type alert, and let me copy here this. So and enter. So we see that we did not receive anything from the server, basically because maybe we need to encode those parameters or those characters in the URL encoding. So basically if we go to here, and as I did before, let me copy this, which is the URL encoding, and if I append this here, for some reason I did not receive anything, or I did not receive the content of the password file. So basically if I go using curl, so curl, and now we need to encode URL. So now our parameter is URL config, and we need to pass the file we need to see on the server. So let's copy this here. Okay, now we define the or write the server URL 13 and the path from here. So you see here that we received the content of the password file, and we can see that there are several and many kind of users on the machine, and the user that we are interested in is W1R3S. But since we don't have the password for this user, we can't make sense of this user anymore. Okay, so if we try to view the shadow file, and if we are lucky, we can extract the we can extract the password for the W1R3S user, and maybe we can use this password in other circumstances or other contexts like SSH or FTP. So oops, maybe my nmap scan has finished. Okay, we will get back to this further later. So now, instead of this, I will say that I need the shadow file. Okay, so we need now to enter. Now we can see that the curl has extracted the password here, as you can see, which is the salted password or hash password. So now all we need to do is to unshadow the file by copying this from here, and if I create a file which is unshadow, for example, let me change my directory path. So touch unshadow, leaf pad or nano. So if I paste this here and Control X, say yes. Now John on shadow under, of course, because I have cracked the password a bit ago, so I need to specify the -- show to show the cracked passwords. So type John, basically you would get the same result. Show on shadow. Okay, so you see here that the password for the user W1R3 is basically and simply computer. So where we can use this password, or we can make sense of this password, basically if we get back to our nmap, okay, I'm gonna scan the machine again. So nmap only SV option for services. In this scan, you will see that there is an FTP server running and allowing anonymous access. So FTP here 192.168. So if you type anonymous, great, you can see that the login is successful, and here you can see we have the FTP server is running and allowing anonymous connections. So if you list the files, you can see that we have 3 files here: new employees, docs, content. So cd to content, we see we have 01 02, 03 files, and if you want to see the content of those files, although those files would not make any sense or would not show you any kind of meaningful information if you try to run the machine or scan the machine on your own. So I'm gonna show you the content of the files. Cat 01, and here it says that this is a new FTP server, cat 02. So here we have page 64 and we have MD5. So I have tried to crack the MD5 hash here, and I received the result. Where is the file? Okay, so if you let's nano. So you see here that this hash, okay, if you crack this hash or decrypt this hash, you will receive the string. This is not the password. Basically, that's telling you that don't try this password on the SSH or other kind of services. And this string here is basically the 03 file, okay, and the base 64 here, basically if you decode, you will receive a string that's saying this is easy but not that easy. Okay, so those files will not yield any meaningful results for you. So ls-la, okay, so you have docs, new employees. New employees, you will find a list of the employees here. So here nano, or not nano, yes nano, root. I have noted down all of those information so to show you all of the things in one place. rs.text. So they have the employee list from this file, and from docs I have a file that has this weird strings. So by typing strings I receive those kind of characters, which did not make sense for me. So now let's close this. Now we have WRS and computer password. If I try to SSH using W1R3S, and the password is computer. Now we are logged in as W1R3S. So ID, oops, ID, who am I? Okay, pwd. So I'm in home. Let's list files and directories. So we have typical Linux files. If we cd to documents, and nothing meaningful, cd to desktop, of course nothing meaningful. And now we need to escalate our privilege. Okay, so let's see what we have in SSH. cd sh known hosts, cat known hosts. Here we have all the known hosts or known host to the machine. So clear. Okay, cd root, permission denied. So we need to escalate our privilege in order to read the flag. So basically sudo I So we wait for, so it asks for the password. So the password here is computer, and we are root right now. So let's list the files, and now we have, I think, the flag file which we need to view, and done. So this machine is kind of beginner. You only need to search for the known vulnerabilities for the current web application that you may encounter during your testing. So the main application was Coupa CMS. By some search about the possible vulnerabilities that might be existed on the internet, you can find the exploits already written by experts. So that's about this machine. It's very easy, and I think that the main reason that we did not receive any results or any the content of the password file from the browser here, the main reason I think is because of cookies or something else. The main, when we change it to curl as our user agent, we got the results. So basically try to search for your queries or try to do your testing not only using browsers. Try to get used to curl and netcat and other kind. Basically you can use netcat to make a request or HTTP requests. So that's about this challenge.